I saw a couple of posts going on the internet talking about gaming being a male dominated hobby. And honestly, I have no interest in litigating that because it's pointless to me. What I am interested in is the why of it. Why do you need to assert that? That's some shit I've never understood. Like, what is the purpose of saying, oh, this is a male dominated space? Is that a good thing? Like, are we going to ignore the societal context and historical context that have led to this perception that it is male dominated? Because that's something I can definitely talk about from personal experience, at least in terms of like racial stuff, right? Where there are certain fields that are dominated by white people and black people aren't really seen there, or even in terms of like neighborhoods where there's suburbs are pretty much fully white or mostly dominated by white people. And so when you enter these spaces, you feel a bit of hostility. I felt that even in gaming and anime myself. I remember when I would go to GameStop and people would think I'm just there to play Madden or 2K because black people can't be interested in playing Final Fantasy or playing a JRPG, right? You see this in businesses. You've seen it all the time. So what is the purpose of saying that this is male dominant? If anything, all that highlights is that we've had inequities for a long time. And I'm seeing people trying to rectify these inequities, and the level of pushback they are getting lets you know why certain groups weren't represented in the first place. Women have historically been treated as second-class citizens in America. I mean, really worldwide, but I'm focusing on America here. Especially when it comes to things like STEM. The reason I'm talking about STEM is because that's science, technology. Technology, like game design or playing games. Women have often been socially pressured to do things that our society has decided to be more feminine, right? Like, you can play with toys, but the toys must be Barbie. The toys must be Cabbage Patch Kids. Toys must be ones that teach you about child rearing and cooking. Easy bake ovens. Side note, I did want an easy bake oven because I like food and I thought I could just have infinite food, but my parents never bought me that. But it's stuff like that, right? Because we've gendered things growing up. I'm wearing a salmon pink shirt. I'm wearing the wrong color because this is a girly color. I should be wearing a blue or a black or a red or a green, right? We've gendered things growing up. And because of that, we have created these unnecessary divisions. And we have enforced these divisions through ostracization, through ridicule, to whatever tools we've used growing up. And I have seen a lot of women in the gaming space to this day having to fight for their place. Why? Because men have made this space extremely toxic for women. I mean, to be fair, the gaming space is also toxic if you're a male who happens to be a minority of any kind, but it's extremely so toxic for women. Triply so if they are a minority of any kind. Knowing that there's been social pressures, it's just easier for people to just not do something than to persevere through it. And I know that sounds like dumb to say, like a duh, but like, I'm being serious. If you were, let's say you're a woman and you see a hobby you might be interested in, and then you get on the internet, you get online, and the first thing you hear is 10,000 gendered slurs about people who look like you as insults. And people are telling you that's how we have to talk to each other. So if you don't like it, get out. I, as a black man, I get called the hard R all the time. I get called the hard R because I disagree with some people on the internet. I get called the hard R because people are mad that I'm fucking spitting. I have to just deal with that. But there are certain groups on the internet who don't have to deal with that. And they often find themselves the arbiter of who is and who isn't allowed to be part of a group, what is and what is not acceptable. And I'm not one to beat around the bush. Cis white men have been the arbiters of things for a very, very, very long time. In gaming, They were the ones who like, we're the bullies. I'm sorry, we're the bullied, we're the nerds, but we have video games and this is our space. And what they did is just create another space to then act the same way as the people who bullied them. Now they get to say who's a gamer, who's not a gamer. And for the longest time, women weren't considered gamers because girls don't go to our hobbies because these are boy hobbies and girls don't do that. When in reality, women have always fucking played video games. But it's just like these nerds either did not talk to women, so they thought women didn't play these games, or more recently, right? It's, oh, you're a fake gamer girl. You're only doing it because your boyfriend got you into this. You don't have really interest in this hobby. You're just doing it because it's popular, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But those claims, that type of mentality has existed for decades. So again, if you're a woman and you've had to go against that for decades, I could see a lot of them being unnecessarily filtered out of something that they probably truly would end up loving deeply. Because we see women here in this space who have definitely gone through that shit, still engaging in this space. You see female Twitch streamers getting shit constantly for their appearances or how they speak or what they do, right? But they're still here. I mean, you get people like Valkyrie and Pokemon getting shit on 24/7, whether it's because people call them thoughts or they're being revealing or messy or this, and the third, but they would never do that shit about their favorite male content creators because they're based gamers. We have always enforced gendered stereotypes to the point where people don't even think it's possible for women to be interested in fucking like video games or wrestling or anything that's considered manly. And the reason, again, for this is fucking money. It's gender. You can, if you split people up, you can, create a market, right? But there comes a time where things change. And it's not as if women are now suddenly gamers, but what's happening now is the gaming industry is understanding that, oh yeah, there's a whole fucking population out there people we can exploit. We can actually be more inclusive in our games, right? We can have games that instead of it being like, look at all these big titty women, which again, I'm gonna just preface here, I have no problem with big titty women at all. And they know it. But instead of it's appealing to traditionally heterosexual men, they can do things that might appeal to just fucking everybody. Because again, they just want money. Like, this is a long-winded way to say the shit that's been dividing you guys is just capitalism. What a surprise. To be like, oh, this is our male hobby. No. The industry just targeted you. And now they're saying, we're not doing that anymore because we want more money. It's like how movies in the past always had just like white people in it. And then we progressed as a society and was like, oh my God, wait, black people have money too. Holy shit. Let's put them in movies. Hello, Black Panther, $1 billion. Like, it's capitalism. But we are letting these dumb divisions define us. Why do you care? Gaming is a male hobby. Women need to just, be cool and not be annoying. What the fuck does that even mean, dog? Annoying in what sense? Asking for representation. They're allowed to be asked representation. They are half the fucking population. Like, you guys were targeted as you were growing up. So you feel as if you own this, but you don't. You would think, especially now in this day and age, you'd understand you don't own goddamn shit, but you do not own the gaming industry. It is not yours. You are a consumer. You are not the only consumer group. In fact, they're making more money now than ever because there are more people now than ever playing video games, which is healthy for the industry in terms of, finances. But women have always been gamers. This industry in its past, yes, I can admit, did target men, well, specifically in terms of certain genres, right? Because you have mobile games, you had games like fucking Cookie Mama, and you got Nintendogs, and really lots of Nintendo games, which didn't really seem to be gendered, whereas most American or Western games had a very, very gendered approach. But that's a different issue video altogether. But point being, yes, growing up, you played video games, you're a boy, you thought all games were for you. Now as you're an adult, you're realizing that games are for fucking everyone. And instead of being cool and okay with that, you're like, this is bad, this is male dominated. Like, is this just you wanting big titty gamers or big titty girls in games? Because you still have that. Like, I don't understand the purpose of be like, this is male dominated. Like, I truly do not understand the purpose of this, unless you are trying to assert that men have an innate ownership of it, and therefore our opinions matter more. Because if that's the case, that's still bullshit. Because you guys will also get mad at other men for saying, yeah, we should be more inclusive. So like, what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of what you're seeing on the screen right now? What's the purpose of this? Just a screed? You're just whining? You're upset about what? Women are having 75% of the market share for clothes. What does that matter? Anything? I'm not seeing women getting upset that there are men in clothing stores, or men in fashion, or male fashion designers. I'm not seeing women being mad that I'm wearing pink. Women didn't come to me today say, you're a fake pink lover because I've been wearing pink forever and you're just wearing it now because we've become a less gender society and men are allowed to express themselves. I'm not getting that. In fact, I get compliments. Like, so even this example doesn't make any sense. And again, clothing is completely different than video games. Video games are 100% a non-necessity. You can go through life without video games. You need clothing for, protection against fucking the elements. And also, a lot of laws kind of don't allow you to walk around butt-ass naked. So you need clothing. It can also be a hobby because there's different types of fashion you can wear, but it's a necessity. Video games aren't. If we get to the nitty-gritty of it, women pay more for clothing because we can nickel and dime them. Don't give them pants with pockets. Give them tight pants that have a design that looks like a pocket, but then make them buy purses. And make them buy different kinds of purses, oversized purses, clutches, what have you. Make their wallets unable to be put inside pockets. Therefore, they need big wallets so they can buy more purses. We can really go down that route where we have basically commodified almost every aspect of women. We say that you're more womanly when you wear makeup. You're more womanly when you have a hair certain way, you wear certain clothing. We can do all that, but that's a completely different video. I'm still lost on the fact that this is now some sort of rallying point, some talking point of, yeah, let's say this is male dominated. Again, why do you need that? Do you need that to reaffirm that you're masculine because you play video games and you're a man? Like truly, what's the fucking purpose of this? What is that? Because I'm seeing people saying, well, just because it's male dominant, this means not only for men. Then why the fuck are you bringing it up? Like, again, the only way this matters is if you're trying to say your opinion as a man matters more. Because this is no different than if I said, hey man, you can come to the cookout, but we don't really want to hear your opinion on this type of black people shit. Like, you're my non-black friend, you can hang out with us, but when we're talking about black people shit, I don't really want your opinion because you're not part of this group, you're not part of this community. Like, if that's what you're trying to say, then just say it with your chest. But in terms of video games, it being male dominated doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't. I mean, hell, that domination isn't as dominant as you think anyways. Like, there are a lot of women who play video games. You might not respect the type of games they play or the platforms they use, but there's a lot of women who play video games. To the point where statements like this mean fucking nothing. It just feels like every day there's always some dumb bullshit coming out that's part of this stupid ass culture war. And I'm just like, because it's always coming from the same people. And I'm like, maybe you guys don't actually fucking like video games. You sure as hell don't like women, but maybe you don't like video games because this is like the antithesis. Just fucking play your games, man. Like, goddamn. Or get off the internet. I didn't mention this in the main video, which is why I'm doing this as like a, this is an edit because I have my headphones on, right? I also wanted to say the fact that a lot of male dominated spaces are maintained through exclusionary tactics, right? I kind of briefly touched upon that, how the way we interact with other men can also be seen as exclusionary. If we're talking about women's bodies, for example, in a very vulgar, demeaning way, what have you, sure, you can do that between your friend group of like a couple of friends. But when you try to make that the entire culture, especially around a hobby that anyone can access and trying to make that contingent on access to said hobby, you see why it's exclusionary. You see why this becomes a male dominated space. For example, right? If we talk about sports, right? There are lots of sports out there that are really, really toxic and that are super fucking homophobic or super fucking racist. Just because I want to participate in said sport or said activity does not mean I should specifically have to tolerate levels of racism in order to fucking play a game. I shouldn't have to tolerate people calling me the N word and like monkey and all those things just because I want to play Call of Duty. People try to normalize that because the people who normalizing it aren't affected by those words. But there are people who aren't them who are affected who also want to play the game. I mean, right now, it's going to date the video, but the World Cup is happening. And I'm always reminded of the multiple instances of so much extreme racism towards black athletes that they've at one point stopped playing a game. It wasn't in the World Cup, but they stopped playing a match due to racism. There are people who are professionals who want to do their job, who want to play the sport that they love and that other people love. They can't do it because in order to participate in this sport or in this culture, they have to put up with unbelievable levels of bigotry. That is what I'm trying to get at in this video. That the reason why we have gaming as a male dominated space isn't because that's how it naturally came to be. That was how it was made artificially. You had men who were encouraged to enter these fields like STEM, what have you, whereas women were discouraged from doing that. Games are considered technology. So you would naturally have more men in these spaces because they were encouraged to do that. So you have men in these spaces and they're making games and all these things. They're going to naturally make games that might be exclusionary to others. And to the gaming industry's credit, we have seen that being rectified, where we have more diversity behind the scenes, which have made, in my opinion, better games. But to a contention of people, this has been the downfall of gaming. And they will put women's faces in there as a problem, or queer people, or black people, or whatever. But the problem does not lie with them. The problem lies with individuals who think that having a male-dominated space is a good thing. It's not. You can have male spaces, right? Like you can have, this is a club for men to talk about their feelings or just a club for the boys to hang out with. That's fine. But when you take ostensibly public places or hobbies and try to say only one gender's allowed or one gender's rules are allowed, that's stupid. Okay, back to the rest of the video, I guess. I don't know when I'm going to put this in, but maybe at the end of the video, so he made it this far, you have a nice little summation here so you don't have to be like, what was this video about? Yeah. Put this at the end.